and then it affects the entire family.
Takes the whole family out.
Right, exactly.
I will say one thing on the part of the women,
Yes.
and it's one thing I had just found recently, and I don't even think you saw it yet. There's another website out there. It's called Fight the New Drug, and the new drug is the sexual addiction, because that's the internal pharmacy of the drug. So,
Right.
it talks about here the women are 113% more likely to search the term hardcore and spend nearly a minute and a half longer on the site. Also, the gap between men and women watching porn is closing fast. So like she said before, the men are the bigger ones in it, but the way society is changing right now, it is starting to close the gap much faster.
There's such a paradigm shift in society right now that we've got so much going on, and you could see it if you're looking for it. But when we had the blinders over our eyes, we don't see all this coming. And then that opens the door for Satan to come in and take over. And I think the ministry you two have is a wonderful blessing from God. And I'm just praying for good things to happen. I know that like us and many others in our church that are trying to do ministry, we come under attack. We become a target.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're trying to serve God,
Right.
and help families stay together. I mean, that's what this thing's all about.
Oh, absolutely. Our focus is, for sure, it's for marriages to stay together, just like, our marriage was attacked when this happened in our life. But through renewing of the mind and through God's grace and help, we're able to, our marriage is stronger than it ever was before. And in addition to that, now we've protected our seed, like Brian was talking about, our son.
Right.
We have so much education that we can pass on to him, because we don't want our son, or any child, but we don't want our son to struggle with anything that we've been through.
Yeah.
And we want him to see that we have victory, and now we pass that victory on to him rather than passing on a curse.
Yeah. I remember as a child, when you talked about the exposure of things, as a child myself, my favorite spot was the library or the bookstore, because it was right there in the front row. And that's where I got my first exposure to it. And yeah, it leaves a lasting effect. And I swore up and down once I got away from that thing, because it's easy to get sucked into, people.
Right.
It's easy, and you really don't it happens so quickly you don't realize what's going on. And that was one of the real reasons for creating this new channel for Unashamed by Grace, because there's a need, and it's an unspoken thing. People are afraid. You don't have to be afraid to talk about it no more.
You don't. And it actually, when people start talking about it, it takes that weight off your shoulders. It's something people have been carrying around for so long, even if they're not struggling with it personally.
They know somebody.
But a family member or a friend, that now there's hope out there, and they can be free, and that huge weight is lifted off their shoulders. And just imagine what that does to someone. They're so free now, not just in that area, but in every single area of their life that it was just weighing them down. And now to feel that completely free is so exhilarating, and there's so much freedom in that. That now they can start pursuing their dreams and goals and things that have held them back because of that one thing, that shame or that guilt, and feeling like they're not good enough because of things that they've been doing. And now all that is just wiped away, and then they're free to be exactly who God's called them to be, with no hindrances.
None. All the chains been broken.
Yeah. And that's our goal. Like, everything that happened in both of our lives, but it produced us, whether it was negative or that we failed in, we made mistakes in, but those were the classrooms of our life. And we believe that we shouldn't regret or try to change what happened, but if that's interpreted properly and we maximize it, we can use that to serve other people. And so that's exactly what Brian and I want to do with our past, with our ministry, is to help other people and educate and get the word out that it's okay to talk about these things, because
Amen.
there is hope and there's no shame in talking about it, because it needs to be discussed. Because
Yes.
otherwise, if the light is never shone on that area of their life, they'll never have freedom.
That's right. Listen to these people very well. Can you share with us an email address? We know you have the Facebook page, but is there an email for those that are struggling and just want to have questions or would like prayer or direction or want to come to your classes? Let's talk about where you're teaching this, how often. Or do you do seminars? Do you go out? I mean, there's 101 questions I can answer.
Well,
Where do we start first?
Yeah.
You might get one answer today. But no, our email is info@unashemedbygrace.org.
Okay.
And right now we are currently meeting at Living Word Bible Church in Mesa, Arizona. It's 3520 East Brown in Mesa, Arizona. We meet once a week on a Sunday. We have a 2-hour groups that we have. We all have groups for the men, and we also have groups for the spouses, because it's very important to do this as a couple.
Yes.
Not all of them come in as a couple. We have men that are coming in that are on the verge of divorce. We have men that are coming in that both are excited to be there. We have men that have just told their wives about it, so we have support groups there. Plus, we are also teamed up with Unbreakable Marriage Ministries, and Unbreakable Marriage Ministries has counseling services through the NAME, which
Yes.
is National Associated Marriage Enhancement.
Yes, that's
I believe
correct.
is what it was. So in that, we also we're teamed up, and it's all free for our class. The marriage counseling is free,
Okay.
and you can get a hold of us at info@unashamedbygrace.org.
Or the Facebook page. There's an area there on Facebook, just like with any site, where you can message, and it'll be a completely private, confidential message to us, and that goes directly to Brian or I. We're the only ones that'll see that.
Great. So there you have it. You can get help, and it's free.
Where can you find that anymore, right?
Yeah. 'Cause there's
That,
other
that should be a
areas-
dirty word.
There are other areas that I know of that it's to get counseling, everything for this. They're talking $4,000
Yeah,
a month.
yeah.
It's very expensive out there, so it's kind of unheard of to have a free program like this. And the material that we use is extraordinary material. It's by Pure Desire. Dr. Ted Roberts has done it, and he's got the best people over 30 years has compiled this information, and it's an incredible program that we have. So.
Amen. See, God is so good that He gave that to you at Thrive, spoke this into you to use your past to help somebody with their future.
Exactly.
And when I first got that, I was like, no, I don't think so, Lord, not me.
And He said, yeah.
Because once people understand what I've been through, what I've done, what I've had happen to me, all these things is things you just don't speak about.
Right.
But now I will be, as we're doing right now on the radio, going out to thousands and thousands of people. That was actually one of the things in that vision that day that I was given. He said, you will speak in front of hundreds and thousands of people. I didn't know how that would look. I did speak at Thrive last year and gave my testimony in front of 500 men last year. So that was part of it. And I was like, okay, I'm fulfilling part of what I just had in the same exact room on the same exact, not the same night, of course, but the same night 1 year later in the same room to the same people as to what had happened. So that was really powerful to have that happen. And then after that, we've been on the radio station in other areas, and now we're here, and we're excited to see where it goes. And I can't wait to get back to Thrive to find out what the next step is, because every time I go up there now, I find something new.
All right.
For the ministry.
And this being my first year, I'm excited.
Careful.
I'm expecting
Put your seatbelt
God
on.
to show me something new. I'm expecting that. I wake up every day expecting something great to happen, because that's something else that He's put into me when I was in the hospital. Is that, you got to start expecting good. You need to start telling people to look for the positives, and that I am that I am. That there's nothing too hard for me. And that's the great thing about your ministry too, that there's nothing too hard for Him, that we can break these generational curses. That my son doesn't have to get sucked into this.
Right.
Sons and daughters, and my grandkids.
Right, exactly.
And their children, because the two of you are serving God and being obedient to what He's blessed you with.
Yeah, you're taking a stand right now. You're taking a stand for your children and for future generations, you know, by becoming knowledgeable and by learning about this. So, and also, you were saying how God spoke to you in the hospital about everything that He had placed inside of you. That's like all of us. We all have special gifts, special talents, special things that God has called us to do. But if the enemy can keep us away from that, he knows, that God's given us all greatness. And if the enemy can stop that, then look at all the miracles, look at all the, potential things that could have happened that have stopped because of, how we feel that we're not worthy to do those things. And so that's, part of our ministry is to empower people to, they have to fight. You have to fight for what's right, and you have to stand up and fight for, take your life back.
Yeah.
And you have greatness in you, and start to discover the wonderful things that God's placed inside you to help others, just like you said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You both have greatness. All right.
If we can just give a quick plug out to
Okay.
Covenant Eyes, if you want to get those CDs for your family, for your kids, for
Yes, sir.
everybody in your neighborhood. Because if your kids are going to someone else's house, they could be getting it there too. So, but it's covenanteyes.com. So they can get the info. They can also get a free CD at Unbreakable Marriage Ministries, like we talked about earlier.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, we're ambassadors with Covenant Eyes, so we have those CDs and pamphlets with us all the time. And so when we're at Unbreakable each Sunday, the parents can come up and get those from us. And actually, Brian's going to be taking those to Thrive with him as well. So if the men want to get those for his family, he'll have them available in his cabin.
All right. Well, there you have it. You can reach them through Unbreakable Marriage Ministries Sunday School class. That's at 9 a.m. in Fellowship Hall at Living Word Bible Church. So you can find Joanne and Brian there. You can go to their Facebook page, contact them there, Unashamed by Grace, or email them, info@unashamedbygrace.org. And remember,